because it leaves you susceptible.
Oh, another one, and Pulev is hurt. Pulev is rocked. He's on shaky legs, and down he goes.
Riding and swimming through those shots. Oh my goodness!
Oh, he's out cold. Out cold. Better beer. Caught him with the right hand, and now the head attack, left and right, and then
I'm Phil. I'm very Phil.
I am the baddest man.
Oh yeah! I'm ready.
What's good, people?
Thanks for rocking with Sparred for life.
Locked in for life, in each other's corner for life.
We don't rehearse and no need for scripting.
Because this is what we do every day.
We talk this boxing shit.
So you think that's the right time for them to fight?
Who?
Darren Haney and Norman.
I do see how it would have been beneficial for it to be for Undisputed, only because, I mean, let's be real. Who the hell wants to see anybody versus Manny Pacquiao? Not Manny Pacquiao. What's the one Manny Pacquiao fought? Mario Barrios, excuse me, the other junior welterweight belt holder. And then the other one is who? Rolly? Who wants to see how is that a super fight for anybody against Rolly or anybody against Mario Barrios? So the only super fight at 147 is Devin Haney and Brian Norman Jr. So I see why it makes sense for that to be for Undisputed, but because it's boxing, you can never really tell how things is going to go. So they two young, hungry lions. I guess it's better that, you know, since somebody calls somebody out and somebody calls somebody's bluff, that they get in there and get it over with now. We can't even trust fights marinating no more, because we'll wait and wait and wait, and these people will end up not fighting each other. So yeah, get it out the way.
And I feel like for the loser
Loser is crazy.
For the loser, it's not over because they can still get a belt on the way, like either from Rolly or from Mario Barrio. So even if they lose, they're still probably gonna fight back after.
It's crazy, like to hear you say the loser, because I don't know. I'm like, there's no losers really, but I'm saying that because I like both of them. Usually when we have a fight, most people have like a clear favorite, instead of, you know, in those rare instances like when Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, I was a big fan of both of them. So I was split all the way up until I think the last press conference between them. That's when I finally was 100% like, nah, Bud Crawford. When he did that, everybody know Terrence Bud Crawford, get active. Like, it was so I was like, oh no, forget it. I was like, because I kept going back and forth saying, I think I was always more so on Terrence Crawford, but there was a time when I was leaning more towards Errol Spence as well. Okay. So I'm saying the same thing with Devin Haney and Brian Norman Jr. I like both of them. So I don't really want anybody to lose. It's so strange.
I feel like Devin had his turn. He had his time as a champion of 135, 140. So I'm always a believer and everyone has their time. So I think that's Norman's time. Especially that's his weight class. I think you want to show that he's actually the boss and he's the one who dictates the pace in that fight.
Okay.
So that's why I think I'm leaning towards him as far as the winner.
You went right in. I was just about to ask you, who do you favor? Like, who do you pick for this fight and why? But go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Norman. I'm gonna go with Norman, and then it's not even just because of the power and all that. I just
Norman
think,
by KO?
No, not necessarily by KO. I can see that happening,
Okay.
but at the same time, defensively, what's his name? Devin Haney is actually great defensively, but I just think that's Norman's weight class. He already acclimated to the weight, and he will want to have something to prove. So I just think he's gonna come gun blazing, and yeah, I can see a KO in that fight.
Okay, so I have a question based on what you just said. You said Devin Haney's defense is great. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just asking you. Give me some examples. You don't have to dig deep or whatever, but give me some examples of the great defense of Devin Haney being on display.
The way he move around the ring, like the way he used the ropes,
Okay.
fighting on the back foot. As far as defense, that's pretty much what I was referring. You don't really have a lot of head movement, but as far as like getting out of the way, defensively is great.
Okay, I
in
see what
that
you mean.
aspect.
Okay, yeah, I would have to agree with you there. I totally, yeah. It was just, it's like, I don't know, because like you could say somebody has great defense, and I'm not necessarily talking about Devin Haney right here. I'm just saying in general. You can say somebody has great defense, and then when they fight somebody where they need to actually display that great defense and they don't, then it's kind of like, how can you say the person has great defense? It's great to look defensively sound against, like a lesser opponent or somebody who's not on your level, right? I was just, asking that question, but that wasn't necessarily about Devin Haney. I actually agree with you with those points you made about Devin Haney's defense in that aspect.
So now I got a question to you. What do Devin Haney has to do to win this fight? And what does Norman has to do to win this fight?
Ooh. Oh my gosh. So again, I am a huge fan of both of these young lions and what their fathers have been able to accomplish with them. I am leaning slightly towards Brian Norman Jr. the way you are as well. I don't know. There was something about seeing Terrence Crawford outbox, outclass, outbully, out everything Saul Canelo Alvarez that had me thinking, hey, is this a possibility that Devin could do this to Brian Norman Jr.? Because almost everything that they gave Canelo the edge to in that fight is the same thing that Brian Norman has going for him, as far as him being the naturally bigger guy, the power, the knockouts, like everybody was giving, and then the fact that Devin Haney is moving up a weight class and he's never fought at 147 as yet. Everybody was giving the edge towards Canelo for those same reasons, even though Terrence Crawford jumped up significantly more than one weight class, and you can't compare, Devin Haney to Terrence Crawford. I'm not in any twist of the imagination doing that. I'm just saying that kind of made me look at the fight and say, wait a minute, could Devin Haney pull off something like this?
It's hard though. It's hard only because I cannot unsee what I saw in his last fight. So I still have that image. And because of that, I don't know.
Wait, when you say you can't unsee what you saw, to be clear, because we know a lot of other people are saying we can't unsee what we saw, and they're talking about the Ryan Garcia fight. You're not talking about the Ryan Garcia fight.
No. The last fight in Times Square.
Okay, so yes, please expound on that. Elaborate.
I just think he was overly thinking and worried too much about getting a hit. And every time he got hit, even if it was a jab or something that wasn't too significant, it seemed like he had a flashback.
So do you not believe what his father and trainer Bill Haney stated, that was the game plan? for basically Devin to get the easy win to secure the bag for the upcoming Ryan Garcia rematch? Do you think that Devin Haney was suffering PTSD and was generally scared to get hit, so he was basically running? Or it was what his father, Bill Haney, said that was the game plan for Devin to fight that way?
They might be right, but how do you convince yourself as far as like, I won the fight like convincingly? Like, just for yourself to just tell yourself like that was a great performance, and now moving forward you're fighting a killer in that new weight class 147.
Right.
To me, that wasn't convincing going to the fight that you're going to in November. So this is why I feel like, yes, you won the fight, but look at the manner how you won this fight.
Right, yeah. You remember, I didn't even watch that fight. I was like, because I'm such a fan of Devin Haney, like, I don't know. I didn't even really want to see him get hit. I wanted to, like, I don't know. I just couldn't. So remember, I think I went to the other room or something when he was watching the Devin Haney fight. That's the same thing when Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. I didn't even. Well, that's something different. We don't cover and we don't go into expeditions. Just real fights over here. We not with that. So yeah, you won't get that on this channel. But yeah, so I'm leaning slightly towards Norman. I'm leaning slightly towards Norman because I think that a lot of the things I hear other people saying on YouTube or in the comments, and even other boxes about Norman being somewhat inexperienced, about Norman not having experience under the big lights in a big show, about him possibly having slow feet, being defensively irresponsible, because I think he got dropped in the Boca Chica fight. I think it was the Boca Chica fight, I'm not sure. And then they were saying how Quentin Randall, that Norman Jr. didn't look great in those fights, but I can say that I think that he's significantly grown since those fights, and he still outclassed both of those guys in those fights. They just weren't, they were ugly fights, and none of us really liked that, but they were ugly fights. But he didn't get washed or nothing or whatever, so I really don't understand. I feel like there was something that Brian Norman Sr. said on one of the interviews I heard this week, I think it was, where he said that you don't have to pull out tools that you don't need in certain fights. So with the fights like Derek Cuevas and Jen Sasaki and Giovanni Santillan, Brian Norman Jr. didn't have to display like any fancy footwork or like he didn't, you know what I mean? He had come forward flat-footed fighters for the most part or what have you. I don't know if I saw enough of Derek Cuevas for me to say that he was flat-footed. I don't know. But either way, he had people that was coming directly, straight to him. So we didn't really have to see him use too many of them tools. I just don't think his father is talking the way he talking, and he knows that his son don't have those tools. I think Brian Norman is going to pull some shit out that is going to shock the world. And that's not me saying that Devin Haney is no slouch. They saying that Brian Norman never fought anybody on the level of a Devin Haney, and I think the same could be said for Devin. I don't think Devin's ever fought anybody on Brian Norman Jr.'s level.
And we have to remember something about Norman Jr. You're only 24, so there's still room for development.
Right.
And he improved every fight. If you watch the fight that he had before, like maybe 2 or 3 fights before, he's not the same fighter. And again, once you're that 24, you're not even at the peak of your career,
right,
as far as a fighter. So I think, yes, his boxing skills are somehow underrated. But I think he's gonna showcase all of those question marks that we have November 22nd.
Whew, oh my God, it's wild that I don't really think any of us was asking for this fight when this fight was made. It was kind of a shock to me. I was like, what? Devin Haney and Brian Norman Jr. Like, I knew, you know, when Devin was moving up to 147, that at some point that would be, you know, the rumblings, but I couldn't imagine that for now. That's why I'm like, what the heck? And I wasn't really interested in the fight at first, and then as you know, I'm gonna keep it a bean. Brian Norman Sr. sold this fight. He sold this fight. The anticipation for this fight is like through the roof, and it's the most talked about fight on the entire card, which is a great card, by the way. A great card. We got David Benavidez versus Anthony Yard.
Abdullah Mason, Sam No.
Right, and that's a title shot.
Which my man Beterbiev.
Oh, is he fighting?
I believe so. I think he's on the first. He's the first fight of the card.
I thought he's not on the card anymore.
Oh damn.
He's
well.
He's not on the card anymore. And Bam is fighting on the card. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know the guy that Bam is fighting. I'm not familiar with him at all. I think I remember his name, but I don't want to mess it up, so I'm not even gonna say it. But yeah, a hell of a card. But there's no fight being promoted like this fight. Like Brian Norman Sr. is everywhere building anticipation. When I say he promoted the hell out this fight, he promoted the hell out this fight. And literally by himself. Because nothing anybody else has done or said has made me say, damn, now I can't wait to see this fight. I don't really hear too much from Benavidez, Yard, nothing from Bam. Nothing from Abdullah Mason, Sam Noakes. Like, I don't hear anything from I haven't seen Devin since what, like, his bodyguard pulled the shirt over Brian Norman's head. I haven't seen Devin since then.
I saw like little clips as far as like training, but that's about it.
Yeah. So this is either like Devin and Bill super locked and loaded and coming out on some real Debo shit, because that's what they calling Devin now, Debo Dev. So either Dev, and that's another thing for you when you say Debo, like, you know, okay, before we close out this video, but when you say Debo, that comes with a certain, like, a level of expectation. Do you get what I'm saying? Because if you watch the movie Friday, Debo was the bully of the neighborhood. He was knocking everybody out, stealing their shit. You know what I mean? Everybody was tucking their chains and getting off the block or whatever. Debo was running their pockets. Like, it was wild. So when you call somebody Debo, you expecting somebody to be on a bully. So I'm expecting to see Devin come in there and like take the center of the ring and bring it to Brian Norman, because he gonna have to get some respect. You did ask me what Devin Haney needed to do. I don't think I quite answered that, but Devin Haney's gonna have to get some respect. You're gonna have to get some respect. I don't know if he's gonna be able to do that with Brian Norman. I seen Brian Norman eat some shots, especially within that Giovanni Santillan fight. He got rocked with a shot in the fight with Derek Cuevas too. And Jun Sasaki was throwing some bombs. He was throwing some shit. Like, he was super reckless, but he was throwing some shit.
But the thing is, Norman have been to war before.
Right.
Not Devin.
Oh.
And like I said, I haven't unseen what I saw in the last fight.
But so Devin had some moments, not all out wars, but he had some moments in like pretty much all of his fights. But you're right. He hasn't had like any like all out wars.
I guess let's see once a jab being thrown, if the dynamic of the fight don't change. Or if he get jabbed or get punched once or something and the fight take a different turn, I guess that's why I said I haven't unseen what I saw last time.
I'm so glad I didn't watch it, even the highlights, and it was no highlights in that fight. But even watching the highlights was like, what the hell was this?
Yeah, it's crazy because he was looking at, like, to me his best performance was on the fight with what's his name?
Regis.
Regis Program. He looked $1 million. The Ryan Garcia fight, it was what it was. I think there's certain things defensively that I didn't really understand, but the last performance, yeah, nah. Going with Norman, you're gonna have to do a lot more than moving around the ring.
Right. Yeah, we definitely can't, you know, just gleam over the fact that Ryan was on something and popped dirty in that fight or what have you. But you're right. Defensively, Devin still made a lot of mistakes in that fight. I think he let like the pressures and the whispers of the people pressure him to feel like he needed, you know, to like really press Ryan and bring it to Ryan or whatever the case may be. And he never really recovered from getting caught in that first round. I don't think he ever recovered, which again is problematic. I think Osterine or not, that Brian Norman hit harder than Ryan. I think even with the Osterine, even juice to the gills, I think he hit harder than Ryan.
Yeah.
They said he knocked 6 weeks out of man's mind. Like,
yeah, that's crazy.
6 weeks specifically?
That was like conclusive.
Oh my God. And you see the way the guy like he bounced with it.
Ring Magazine, they didn't wait until like, you know, once that knockout happened, they didn't even wait 10 minutes after that clip was already there.
Oh my God, that was crazy. Yeah, you knocking 6 weeks out. Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy. So it definitely will be interesting, you know, to see what happens, you know, November 22nd, because my God, like I said, Brian Norman Sr. has built the anticipation for this fight. We see Devin Haney training. He hitting big tires with sledgehammers, and you know, I think he's with Mickey Bay. He's training with Mickey Bay now. I saw some of his sparring partners. We saw some of him and Brian Norman Jr. sparring partners, and then Elijah Flores is a sparring partner that they have in common, and he had a few things to say about both. He also favors Brian Norman Jr. in the fight, and he is a mutual sparring partner of, you know, these two gentlemen or what have you, and he favors Brian Norman Jr. In the fight. That's Elijah Flores from the Bronx, fighting out of California, but he's from the Bronx. You know, I gotta pick up the Bronx.
Yeah, I can wait to see, like, in the next couple of weeks. I guess the fight week,
Grand Rivals,
open workout that's gonna tell us a little bit more about the two, and the weighing.
Right.
Yep.
And the energy, you know what I mean? You know how sometimes the energy lets you know, like, oh my gosh, I felt like I could see defeat in Canelo's eyes.
From the first or the second press conference once he pushed him, from at that moment, I knew, like, that's it. I knew, yeah.
So we're gonna be coming back here and checking in with y'all to give y'all updates on everything that, you know, we just ran down: the grand arrivals, the weigh-ins, the press conferences, the energies, everything that's taking place up until, and all the other fights and everything as well. We'll be covering all.
Exactly. We'll be back in our topic on fight week.